Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision 2026 related video here on my channel, and today I'm going to be telling you my semi-final running orders predictions with regards to the 2026 edition of the Eurovision Song Contest, which, as we all know, will take place this May in Vienna, Austria. As always, you're welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always, there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. So, I've been making videos similar to this on my channel for several years now, and I've been making running orders predictions for the semi-finals and grand final for many years, since before I even started uploading regularly onto my YouTube channel. It goes without saying, it is just a bit of fun. It is not to be taken too seriously, so do bear that in mind. What really matters, of course, is the real deal, the official running orders for the two semi-finals in Vienna this year, and we should be getting those before the end of the month, probably around March the 24th or 25th. And all being well, I shall film a reaction video to those running orders when they appear, because chances are there will be official recaps of them on the official Eurovision YouTube channel. Anyway, over the past couple of days, I've been putting together my predictions and taking them far more seriously than I perhaps should have done. The semi-final one recap, if you will, is here on these cream-coloured bits of card. Semi-final 2, they are on these red bits of paper, and the automatic qualifiers, as you can see, are on blue bits of paper. I don't really know why I use these, but I do. I know there are videos on the Eurovision YouTube channel talking about how the running orders have been put together in the past, and you can see in those videos they are using large sticky notes, post-it notes, to move things around and determine the actual official running orders. So maybe that's where this all came from. I've taken into consideration lots of different things, mainly the genre and style of each song. If you can, I think it's a good idea to try and break things up as much as possible. So you don't necessarily want 3 ballads in a row if you can help it. You certainly don't really want 3 big pop songs in a row if you can help it. There needs to be this nice flow to proceedings. But at the same time, I think it's quite important that it's not a jarring flow, if you see what I mean. You don't really want to go from one extreme to another if you can help it. I've also taken into consideration the gender. Male, male, male. Do you really want 3 guys in a row? Maybe, maybe not. I've thought about that, so trying to break it up in terms of gender a little bit as well. And also in terms of language. You don't necessarily want 3 or 4 English language entries in a row. You want to try and break it up where you can. And I think this year everybody is pretty much able to do that. Another thing that I've tried to take into consideration is where the automatic finalists might be in the running orders for the semi-finals, because of course over the past few years the automatic finalists have been showcased properly within the semi-finals. I've never been too good at really knowing where pauses are in the show and where exactly the automatic finalists might be showcased, so I've really tried to do my best with that. And something else that we as Eurovision fans don't really know about yet is how each performance is going to come across live. My understanding is that all of the delegations involved this year have already submitted staging plans to the host broadcaster, the producers of the show. There's a heads of delegation meeting happening right now in Vienna, where I'm sure all of this stuff is being discussed and perhaps finalised to some extent. But we as Eurovision fans don't really know, especially the internally selected songs that came our way this Eurovision season. For all we know, some of these countries have some really fancy schmancy staging lined up with some big props, and if that's the case, then those countries probably are going to open or close a semi-final or be around a commercial break. Because we don't really know anything about this and how they're going to be presented, you just have to try and do the best you can. So, with all of that being said, and I'm already rambling for the ages, this is my prediction, and we begin with semi-final 1 in Vienna. this May. It's going to take place on Tuesday, the 12th of May. 15 countries are involved. They'll all vote alongside 2 of the automatic qualifiers. That's Germany and Italy. So I imagine there will be 1 per half. And, of course, the rest of the world will have their say too. And at some point, it's entirely possible that rest of the world vote could be crucial. It could be the difference between a country making the cut or getting on a flight home early. Anyway, the first half of Semi-Final 1. So this is a very lopsided semi-final. I think most Eurovision fans would agree with me on this. The second half is far weaker than the first half. The first half is actually pretty stacked. There are quite a few big hitters that we're going to be getting early on within the first 30 to 40 minutes or so of the show in May. The second half, though, there's definitely going to be a few lulls in proceedings, if you see what I mean. We could have a situation where every song in the first half qualifies and then only a few from the second half. That might happen. It would be very interesting, perhaps unprecedented, but we'll obviously wait and see. Do let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comments below. So, finally getting into this. Song number 1. I feel as though you need to start the show with a bit of a bang. You've been building this stage for several weeks. Now you have the chance to show it off. So why wouldn't you? Have all of the lights kicking into gear. Have a bit of pyro. Have some smoke going. Have this really bright, lively performance to set the tone for what's to come. There are a few possible contenders here to open Semi-Final 1 this year. There's Sweden, there's Greece, there's Moldova, maybe even Finland could open the show. There's Greece. I haven't gone with Greece purely because, well, I just feel as though it would work better later on, and it's as simple as that. I haven't gone with Sweden because we know with Sweden we are going to get pretty much a copy-paste job once again. What we have seen at Melfest is pretty much exactly what we're going to get in Vienna. I can't see there being many alterations whatsoever to the presentation of My System by Felicia. And although we had the lasers kicking in and all of that sort of stuff, actually, when I think back to it, that performance was fairly dark and moody, so I'm not sure I'd really want to start the semi-final in that fashion. As for Georgia, who I don't think I mentioned just a minute ago, but Georgia is a possibility to open the show. They absolutely might do it. We don't know how it's going to be staged, but in the end, I didn't put Georgia on first. And I didn't put Finland on first. And I looked at the Greek track, and I looked at this other country, and I thought, okay, they're not exactly the same, but they're in the same sort of ballpark, if you see what I mean. They are both rowdy numbers by solo male musicians. I might want to keep them apart as much as possible, so each song really has the best opportunity to shine and stand out as much as it possibly can and reach its full potential. Because we know, as Eurovision fans, the running orders usually aren't too bad. And I know what some people are going to say, by the way. Oh, the voting might be open from the start. There's only 15 countries in each semi-final. The running orders really don't matter too much. You might be absolutely right with that, but it's a nice thing to think about nevertheless, which is why I'm doing this right now. But getting back to what I was just saying, you've got Greece, you've got this other country, solo male performers, both rowdy efforts. I think you just want to keep them apart as much as possible. And believe me when I say that I moved some of these countries around loads of times before I settled on something. And the way things turned out, opening semi-final 1 in this prediction, Moldova, Viva Moldova by Satoshi. This is really going to get the crowd fired up. People will be on their feet, they'll be dancing, they'll be chanting along with this. You'll have flashing lights, you might have some pyro. The energy is going to burst through your television screen. What a way to get things going. Moldova, song 1. And of course, not that I was really thinking about this, but Moldova opened semi-final 1 the last time we were in Vienna. Now, song number 2, which I know is not a great draw for a lot of countries, it can be fatal. The way I see it, if you are a first-time listener to these songs on the night, you really want to, as somebody who's putting the official running orders together, you need to give off both sides of the coin, if you see what I mean. So if song 1 is not your thing, maybe song 2 will be. You've got to show off the range of entries this year fairly early on, if you see what I mean. So for song 2, something very different. I thought about Croatia, but the Croatian track to me feels a bit heavy, and I want the start of a Eurovision show to feel quite inviting and warm, and I think this song ticks a lot of the right boxes for that. So song 2 is going to be Portugal, Bandidos do Cante with Rosa, possible dark horse, maybe, maybe not. Certainly I think this will get a few more fans before Eurovision takes place in May. It's really lovely, it's very calming, it's very different from what we've had opening the show, and it's very inviting. It feels like a nice, soothing hug. So if you don't like song 1, you really might quite like song 2. Moving on to song 3, and yeah, didn't really know where to put this country, so I'll just mention them right now. Song 3 is Sweden, My System by Felicia. This will liven things up again. This is really slick stuff. The first solo female performer of the year. So we've had a solo male act, we've had an all-male group, and now it's time for the first woman. Like I said earlier on, this is probably going to be a copy-paste job from what we had at Melfest, which is fine because it was working there. She's great. We know what we're going to get. Lasers, red lighting, dancers, sunglasses, mask, the whole shebang. It's going to go through. It's a possible semi-final winner. Song 3, Sweden. And now, changing the tone again, trying to keep that nice flow, let's have an all-female group at number 4. This is Croatia, Andromeda by Lelek. The first time I heard this song, I honestly thought it was Eurovision winning material. Now, I'm not so sure, and I've seen very few Eurovision fans say that this could win Eurovision, so I think it's really not going to happen. But absolutely, I think this might be one of the strongest songs Croatia has had at Eurovision thus far. I think it's a really, really fine effort, dramatic, ominous, mysterious, atmospheric. I'll be using those words a lot moving forwards. Really great stuff, should go through. Song 4, Croatia. And now we have that other very rowdy, raucous, somewhat chaotic and wild entry by a solo male performer. We've had Moldova, and now, maybe about 15 to 20 minutes later, it is time for Greece, Ferto Akilas. This is great. I wasn't convinced by the live performance at the national final, but I am sure it's going to come across in a much more polished fashion in Vienna this May. I like it more every time I hear it. It could be deemed a bit of a jokey entry, absolutely, but the lyrics are quite interesting. The music video is fantastic. He's got plenty of energy. It's easy to go along with. It has a simple, catchy refrain. Probably a semi-final winner. Ferto is going to be song 5. Now it is time for the first automatic qualifier. Of course, this could be on a little bit earlier, it could be on a little bit later. As I said earlier, I don't really know exactly where in the running orders the pauses are going to be, so that can really mess things up. But nevertheless, I have gone with Italy as the first automatic finalist we will hear in semi-final 1 this year. It's Per Sempre Si by Sal Da Vinci. This is another up-tempo track, but obviously very different in style from what Greece are bringing to the table. This is jaunty, easy to go along with. A lot of people are just going to find this sweet, warm, and a good time for 3 minutes on stage. And certainly another dark horse, maybe, to do very well this year, the Italian track. Now, we have 2 songs left in the first half of semi-final 1, and this country here, I had absolutely no idea where to put them. And so, I've put them here as song number 6. It's Georgia on replay by Bzikebi, former junior Eurovision winners. This might have some really fancy staging. There might be a prop or two. I really don't know. Absolutely could open the show, but I've put them as song 6, which means song 7, And I think this is fairly likely, not because they're the favourites to win, but I just feel as though this is probably the position they're going to be in. It's Finland. Linda Lampenius and Pette Parkkonen with Liekin Heitin, meaning flamethrower. The staging at UMK was fine. It wasn't bang on the money for me personally. Vocally, it was fine, apart from maybe that big note towards the end, right at the very end actually, which I think even the most accomplished vocalist would probably struggle with. This is the favourite to win. It's my favourite of the year. It's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, hopefully everything is going to be a little bit more polished and slick in Vienna. Whether they keep that light up confessional booth type thing or not, I don't really know, with all of the flames going around it. I would have flames shooting up around the edge of the stage. You've got to ramp up the epicness of this song because it's an epic track. So really bowl us over by how epic it actually is. Song 7, Finland. That is the end of the first half. So we have had a few fairly up-tempo tracks in a row there. Greece, followed by Italy, followed by Georgia, followed by Finland. So moving into the second half, I think you need to start off with something a little bit calmer, arguably. And so I have gone with, and let me just double check here, Song 8 I have gone with Poland. This is Alicja finally getting her chance on the Eurovision stage after the pandemic came along in 2020 with the song Pray. This is pop R&B, very middle of the road for me, doesn't really stand out a great deal. Maybe it's not the best idea having this pretty much slap bang in the middle of the first semi-final, but it is what it is. She's a great vocalist who arguably deserves a better song. This to me is, I don't know, Christina Aguilera light. That's maybe not the best comparison I can give you. But anyway, Poland, there we go. Alicja with Pray. Now, let's liven things up again and try and keep that flow going as best as possible. Song 9 is going to be Belgium, Dancing on the Ice by Essila. The hate that this song has received has really surprised me because is it really that bad? I don't think so. This first semi-final, particularly the second half, it's a bit on the stinky side. Can we really rule out Belgium at this stage? I don't think we can. They didn't qualify last year. They didn't qualify the year before that, but maybe they could sneak into the final with this one. Okay, lyrically, maybe not the best. I'm not really sure what the song is getting at myself. It's been a while since I heard it. But it's not too bad, and it's got this slightly dark electro beat thing going on. I don't think we should be ruling out Belgium whatsoever at this stage. That's song number 9. Song number 10, didn't know where to put them, so this is when Israel come into the fray. This is Michelle by Noam Betan, going to qualify no matter what. If you don't think Israel can win this year's competition, it's maybe time to think again, because we all saw what happened last year. This is a possible public vote winner in the first semi-final and in the final. Obviously, well, certainly in my opinion, it is not remotely strong enough to be considered a possible semi-final winner, let alone a grand final winner. I've heard this once all of the way through. I will say that I think it's arguably a bit better than their entry last year and the year before, but that's not really saying a great deal. I don't think it's super competitive, but it is what it is. Song 10, Michelle for Israel. Now it is time to liven things up again, and a pure pop song is perhaps what the doctor ordered. And so, coming after Israel, we are going to have Germany. Sarah Engels with Fire. She's a pretty good live performer. The performance at the German national selection wasn't too bad at all, but it was all fairly predictable. And the song, we all know this, is really quite basic. We're going to have fire. We're going to have some choreo. It's all going to be a little bit on the sexy side, maybe. This is probably going to struggle in the final, but it's not a bad slice of pop at all. The reason this is not in the first half is because we have Finland in the first half, and if you're going to have a song called Fire, and then you're going to have a song which translates as Flamethrower, that's going to be two performances where fire is going to play a big part. That was my thinking, hence why Germany has been placed in the second half here, in between songs 10 and 11. Didn't know where to put this country, But song 11 is going to be San Marino, Superstar by Senate, and most likely, apparently he might well be on stage in Vienna, Boy George, because why the hell not? This is perhaps the only somewhat dead-on-arrival song in Semi-Final 1. I don't think anybody's expecting this one to go through. To have that national selection with so many songs and then end up picking somebody who has represented San Marino twice before with very limited success, very dubious if you ask me. Senate is not really the problem. She performs with a smile on her face and she's not a bad vocalist, I suppose. But the song feels dated. It feels really uninteresting, which is a fatal flaw for an up-tempo song. Song 11 in this running order, San Marino. So that is sort of 2 pop songs in a row. Now it is time to really get very moody and perhaps a bit aggressive. And that is where song 12, Serbia, joined the party. This is Kraj Mene by Lavina. People love this song. On the recap video of all 35 songs this year on the Eurovision YouTube channel, it's just Serbians in the comments section. It's like the entire population of Serbia has gravitated to that video. Super popular stuff. It won the Serbian national final quite convincingly. Now, I will say this. I don't mind this, but I'm not loving it. I've definitely listened to quite a bit of music in this style in the past. No question. Rock, heavy rock, metal, all of that sort of shebang I've listened to. However, I'm not fully on board with this one. Could do very well in May, but if you don't like this style of music, you're probably going to find it awful, and the votes won't pour in. Nevertheless, I'm expecting this to go through at this stage. It's going to stand out no matter where it is in the running order. Kraj Mene, Song 12, Semi-Final 1. And now we absolutely need something that's a bit more of a palate cleanser, because Serbia is bashing us around the head with its aggressive nature. If aggressive is the right word, probably not. So we need something a bit lighter, and that's where Estonia come into play. Too Epic to Be True, Song 13, The Returning Vanilla Ninja. They were there representing Switzerland in Kiev in 2005. They were in the old version of Eesti Laul in 2003 with Club Kung Fu. They've been around a long time. A lot of people hate this. A, because Ollie didn't win Eesti Laul, and also because the song is really bringing nothing new to the table. I can tell you right now, this is one of my favourites of the year. I know, maybe that tells you everything you need to know about my music taste, but I really enjoy this, but I absolutely understand those individuals who think this is shite. Can we rule this out from qualifying? Probably not. The juries are back in the semi-finals. They might look at this and say, hello, give me a bit of that vanilla, if you know what I'm saying. We did have that sort of elevated platform, if I remember correctly, during the Eesti Laul performance, so we might get that again. Maybe, maybe not. Vocally, could be a bit better. Visually, could be a bit better. Either way, coming after Serbia, I don't think is too bad. Song 13. 2 songs left. And you know which 2 countries they are if you've been paying attention. Song 14 is Lithuania, Lion Seeker with Solo Quiero Mas. I think first-time viewers are going to look at this and not really have a damn clue what's going on. Why do we have a man looking like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz? What on earth is he singing about? Why does this feel strangely like a bit of a pop song? But it's not really a pop song. And there's also a little bit of drama to it, but I don't really have a damn clue what's going on. Nevertheless, this Lithuanian song is not too bad. I'm expecting it to go through. Lithuania are on a pretty good qualification streak at the moment, and I think having it as the penultimate song, yeah, I think that works in my opinion. Lion Seeker, Solo Quiero Mas for Lithuania, Song 14. That leaves, and to be honest, if it's not this country, maybe Belgium or Estonia will close semi-final 1. Maybe Serbia at a push, but would you really have a song in that style closing the show? Maybe if they have some really interesting staging, some sort of large prop, maybe. But I think this song closing the show would be fantastic. It's Nova Zora Tamara Živković for Montenegro. I liked this song anyway. The revamp came along a little while ago, thought it was great. That glitchy effect, Wasn't so sure about it at first. Now I think it's really working. Hopefully this is going to be a great live performance. Vocally splendid, visually fantastic, ticking all of the right boxes. Montenegro haven't been in a Eurovision final since Vienna 11 years ago. Now their return to an ESC final is perhaps imminent. And I think closing semi-final 1, it just works for me, maybe for you as well. That is song 15. So to recap, dear viewers, semi-final 1. Let me do this. My word, this is a long video. Song 1, Moldova. Song 2, Portugal. Song 3, Sweden. Song 4, Croatia. Song 5, Greece. And then we'll have Italy as the first auto qualifier. Song 6, Georgia. Song 7, Finland, the favourites to win. Song 8, Poland. Song 9, Belgium. Song 10, Israel. Then we have Germany, right there. Fire, fire, liar, liar. Then we have San Marino. Then it's going to be Serbia. And then song 13 will be Estonia. Song 14 will be their Baltic neighbours, I guess, Lithuania. And then we will have Montenegro closing the show. That's semi-final 1 out of the way. Semi-final 2 is arguably a bit stronger. Usually I feel semi-final 1 is the stronger of the two semi-finals, but actually I think it's the other way around this year. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. I think certainly everything is up for grabs in this show at this moment in time. There's probably only one country again that is somewhat dead on arrival. And here we go. Let's go straight through it on these red bits of paper. So, opening semi-final 2, for the record, Thursday the 14th of May, 15 countries involved again. They'll all vote alongside Austria, France and the UK and the rest of the world. So, last night I actually changed a few things. Oh yes, I did. Because I just wasn't happy with how it was looking. So, I originally had Armenia as the show opener. If semi-final 1 is opening with a solo male performer with a rather rowdy entry, why not start semi-final 2 in a similar fashion? But then I thought to myself, actually, this isn't quite the way I want it to be if we move that there and this round there. I think it's either going to be Armenia opening semi-final 2 or this other country. And you can probably guess which one it is. Yes, the returning Bulgaria, Bangaranga by Dara. This is going to be a pretty lively way to get the show going. And there's going to be some choreo. I think we're getting the official music video fairly soon. Dara, beautiful woman, not a bad vocalist. Certainly, this is either going to be quite messy or it's going to feel very cohesive and well put together. And we'll wait and see which one it is in May, of course. I'm hoping that everything comes together very smoothly. The juries might not like it at all. The public might go big for this. Yeah, the national final performance didn't convince me. But then again, I think it was put together very quickly. The choreo was a little bit all over the shop. But it's not too bad. Bangaranga starting the show with a bang. Why not? Moving into song number 2 now, and this one is the pretty much dead on arrival track. I just don't see any situation in which this one goes through. It's Just Go by Jiva for Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan have been very poor at Eurovision for a few years now. I don't really know what's changed for them. Maybe not really using a Nordic songwriting team. I don't really know. This is not absolutely dreadful, but I just don't know where the points are going to come from. Song 2 for Azerbaijan. So we start off with a bang, and then we have something a lot calmer. Song 3, didn't know where to put this one. The first half of semi-final 2 is actually quite female heavy, so I was trying to keep the guys, you know, fairly spread out as best I could. Not that that really matters at all. As I said earlier, it's more the genre and style of each song which is far more important. And yeah, Song 3, so this is going to be our third female solo act in a row. This is Switzerland, Veronica Fusaro with Alice. At this moment in time, I really don't know whether this is going to go through or not. I need to listen to it again in full. There's a lot to appreciate about it. It's very easy to go along with, meandering, has some rock qualities to it. I like her, I like her voice. I thought the music video was pretty cool. But is it really that competitive? I just don't know. Song 3 for Switzerland. So we've had 3 different types of expression on early in semi-final 2. And now let's really go full throttle with Armenia, our first solo male act of the semi-final. Paloma Rumba by Simon, whatever, for Armenia. Yes, I don't mind this at all. Definitely it's packing a lot of quite chaotic energy. Like with Bulgaria, first of all, this could open the show. Yes, I had it as the show opener up until last night, and then I changed things. Would they have Armenia open and Azerbaijan second? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. That's what it was looking like for me up until last night. Like with Bulgaria, this could be really quite messy. And it could be all over the place, vocally, shot to pieces. I don't really know. But Armenia last year, yeah, I don't think I had Armenia down as a qualifier last year. And then they did go through, and okay, the points didn't pour in the final in Basel. But maybe something similar might happen again this year with this particular Armenian track. Could be a bit of a dark horse, but could also not qualify. I don't know. Now it's time for the first automatic qualifier, and because the first half of semi-final 2 is quite female heavy, I think sticking another man in might not be too bad an idea. We do have Look Mum No Computer for the UK, but I have gone with Cosmo with Tanzschein for Austria. And yeah, this is obviously quite up-tempo, but it's very different from the Armenian track. The Armenian track is 100 miles an hour, very arresting, you can't look away even if you try, whereas the Austrian track, it's a little bit more bouncy with electro elements. I don't know what that dance move was, let's pretend I never did that. But yeah, in terms of a host entry, this is probably not the strongest. I don't think it's going to stand out too much, but you never know. Today, as I speak to you, March 17th, there is a heads of delegation meeting in Vienna, and would you believe it, Austria have been drawn at random to close the grand final, if you didn't know. Song 25 in the final, Austria. Can you believe this? It's a random draw. Sweden in 2024 were randomly drawn to open the show. The UK in 2023 were randomly drawn to close the show, and now we've had another situation where a country has been drawn at random to close the show. Of all the positions, Song 25 for Austria in the final this year. I don't mind this. I don't love it. It's going to get people smiling. It is what it is. Austria coming in between songs 4 and 5. Now that we've had the Armenian track very full throttle, as I said a moment ago, and we've had Austria, which is also, you know, a relatively upbeat sort of entry, time for something a little bit more calmer, something a little bit sweeter, something that just feels a bit more like a fresh breeze rolling in. And that's where Luxembourg come in. Song 5, Ava Maria with Mother Nature. This could be Song 2, absolutely. This is an underrated gem. This should not be ruled out whatsoever. It's going to be hard for this song to qualify because everything is up for grabs in semi-final 2. The juries might love this. They might love this because what is there to really fault? Okay, it doesn't really stand out a great deal. Whoop-de-doo. I don't think the music professional juries are going to look at that and say, oh, you know, in the grand scheme of things, does it really make much of an impression? I think they're just going to enjoy this for what it is. It's a very sweet performer with a very sweet song. And it's not too bad at all. I quite like it. It's not massively competitive. Luxembourg qualified last year and the year before. They have a 100% qualification record, along with Ukraine. Luxembourg, in this running order, Song 5. And now, oh boy, talk about an underrated gem. And I do think this is a bit underrated, actually. Song 6 is going to be a pretty straightforward ballad, which does liven up a little bit towards the end, but not in a really overpowering manner. This is Czechia, Daniel Zizka with Crossroads. Goodness me, this is great. It doesn't really have too much of a chorus, and I'm not sure about the ending. The conclusion, I don't know, maybe feels a tad haphazard to me somehow. vocally, if he nails this live, points, points, points everywhere you damn well look. The juries are going to eat this up. The public, I'm not sure about. Surely this is going through. This could be a serious contender to do very well in the final. Coming after Luxembourg and right before this other country just makes a bit of sense to me. Song 6, Czechia, Crossroads, Daniel Žižka. And that means closing the first half. Song 7, a real fan favourite. And this has rock qualities to it as well, but not in the way that Switzerland is bringing those rock qualities to the table, if you see what I mean. This is a little bit more full-on, and I wanted to try and keep Switzerland and this other country apart as much as I could. And then I had Armenia opening the show, and that's got a bit of a rock quality to it as well, I suppose. So I was really rejigging these slips of paper so many times recently. But nevertheless, Song 7, Romania. Alexandra Capitanescu with Choke Me. There's been some controversy over the title of this song, and I'm thinking to myself, come on now. Arguably, this is a waste of time really having this discussion. Let's just move on, enjoy the song for what it is. She's great, didn't love the national final performance, but at Eurovision it could absolutely burst into life. There's quite a bit to this track. It's doing quite a few different things. I really enjoy it. It reminds me of old school Evanescence a little bit, which is fantastic. Hello Amy Lee, hello Alexandra Capitanescu, probably going to go through a great return entry for Romania this year. Song 7. Oh boy, am I running out of steam. Bear with me, we're getting through it. Moving into the second half of Semi-Final 2, and I think after Romania, which is pretty much in your face, quite visually arresting, probably in May, time for something that just calms it down a little bit, and then we can move swiftly on right into the second half of Semi-Final 2. And this country, yeah, I didn't really move them around at all. Song 8 is Ukraine, Rydnym by Leleka. Look, Ukraine only have to turn up. They're in the final, probably getting top 10 in the final. This could win the semi-final. It's a wide open semi-final, as I've already said a few times now. So Ukraine, they're just going to be like, hi, we'll win this then, because that's something we're pretty good at. Didn't Zifferblatt win the first semi-final last year? I mean, come on, if that can win a semi-final, so can this. I need to listen to it again. It's a very nice track. Nicely performed. The national final performance was quite clean and uncluttered, which I really appreciated. I can't imagine we're going to have something too different on stage in Vienna this May. Ukraine, they're just going to turn up and say, we'll have all of these points, because that's what we usually do. Rydnym by Leleka. I don't think it's their strongest entry whatsoever, and it's not one of my huge favourites this year, but I can appreciate it, no doubt about it. Quite refreshing, I would say, in terms of its sound. Now, after Ukraine, well, if we have a look at the songs that I've already mentioned, Armenia is perhaps the one that is just like full-on arresting, loads of things going on, maybe a bit of a chaotic mess, perhaps. So it's been a little while. Now it's time for the United Kingdom, the next automatic qualifier to be showcased in this second semi-final. Look, Mum No Computer, 1, 2, 3. We know that he's going to have a lot of equipment on stage because he's pretty much said so. So what you see in the music video is probably going to be all around him on stage in Vienna. And if you remember Czechia's performance in 2022 in Turin, Lights Off, that had a lot of equipment on stage as well. I imagine 1, 2, 3, how that's going to come across live in May for the UK, might be similar to how that Czech performance came across in 2022. Perhaps, I don't really know. Is this going to finish last in the final? I don't know. Maybe. This definitely deserves some points. I don't know how great he's going to sound live. I imagine he'll be doing a few live TV appearances, perhaps. The Graham Norton Show. That's not live, but nevertheless, I imagine he'll be appearing on that at some point soon, if he hasn't already. I don't think he has. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud now. You can tell I'm losing the plot. Look, Mum No Computer, right in the middle of semi-final 2. It's going to stand out a mile, and then we move swiftly on. Song 9, well, actually, the second half of semi-final 2 it's a bit slow going at times, isn't it? So I really did have difficulty trying to separate these as best I could. But nevertheless, Song 9, Malta, Bella by Aidan, will be, I'm sure, a jury darling. The public, they never seem to love Malta that much, which is a real shame. This isn't too bad a song whatsoever. He's finally getting his chance on the Eurovision stage. This could be staged in a very beautiful, effective manner. If everything comes together and the stars are aligned, this is going to go through. But we could have a situation where this is 5th in the jury vote, 14th with the public, and it's an NQ, which would be a real slap in the face. Nevertheless, I like it. Song 9, Malta. Now, with that flow, we need to build things up again. Song 10, this could absolutely close the show. It's Jala, Jala, we want Jala by Antigone for Cyprus. Beautiful woman. She has performed this live. It was okay. A lot of people love this. If you look at the main favourites to win this year, you've got Finland, you've got Greece, you've got France, you've got Denmark. After that, is anybody else really going to win this year? Probably not. Who's the best of the rest? Well, a lot of people would probably say Cyprus. I think this is going to go through. It's a bit of a dance number. You can shimmy about to this one. And yes, it could absolutely be on later in the show. It could close the semi-final, as I said. But Song 10 for me, Antigone with Jala, Jala, and so on for Cyprus. Now, Song 11. This is a country that I moved up one place last night. This is another fairly atmospheric track. Definitely a bit moody, a bit glum in terms of its sound. A lot of people really are enjoying this one as well. It is Albania. I haven't heard this song in full since he won FIC last year. And that just tells you everything you need to know about how I view Eurovision these days. Because a decade ago, that would not have been the case. I would know this song very, very well by now. But nowadays, some of these songs I haven't really gravitated towards in ages. And that doesn't mean that they're bad. I just haven't really decided to click play, if you see what I mean. Anyway, this is Alice with Nan. Pretty much every prediction I've seen online so far has this down as a qualifier. I've got to be honest, I'm not too sure. But maybe that's just me. Song 11 in this running order. We've had the rather lively and joyful Cyprus. Now we've got the more serious Albanian track. And now something that feels a little bit more light, and that is where Australia come into play. Absolutely could be a show closer. This is Delta Goodrum, massively experienced, loads of awards, sold millions of albums. This is Eclipse, a really nice, albeit playing it safe song, I think. This is not a bad thing, because Australia have taken a few risks in recent years. We had Electric Fields, didn't qualify. Gojo with his milkshake, didn't qualify. So playing it safe again after a while is maybe not a bad idea. This song is really very fine indeed. We know Australia don't always get a lot of public love, especially in the final. I think the juries will appreciate this a lot more. It could be a semi-winner. It could be a contender to do very well in the final. But at this stage, I'm really on the fence about it. Song 12, Australia. So, now we have the final automatic qualifier. And you know which one it is. France, Monroe, 17 years of age, isn't she? Quite remarkable. What a voice, with Regarde. And this is a contender to win. The juries might listen to this and think, oh my God, inject it into my veins, mon Dieu. Because it's pretty much a jury bait track, isn't it? It's got opera qualities to it. She has a sensational voice. It feels dramatic. It feels a bit theatrical. And there's that huge note towards the end, which is in many ways the winning style moment, if you see what I mean. I really like this. I can understand why some Eurovision fans aren't vibing with it because, oh, it's too similar to JJ, it's too similar to Nemo, etc., etc. I get it. There's this sort of opera fatigue a little bit with Eurovision, maybe. But France want to win. And I don't know how it's going to be staged, but it's going to stand out. And I think coming after Australia, yeah, I wasn't too sure about that. But then again, the two songs are fairly different in terms of their sound. Now, let's inject a bit of fun back into proceedings. Song 13, Norway, Jonas Love, Ya Ya Ya. This is flying under the radar. A lot of people are expecting this to be a non-qualifier. It's an up-tempo song, but it feels fairly flat to me for some reason. He's a good vocalist. He's got some swagger and charisma on stage, and there's a little bit of a cheekiness to this song as well. The MGP performance was fine. It didn't really make me go, wow, sensational though. Yeah, I don't know about this song's chances. But song 13, livening things up again after the French and Australian and Albanian tracks, Norway. Song 14, Latvia. Really don't know about this one either. It's a beautiful track. It feels quite cold and sterile to me, though. I can't really connect with it or appreciate it in the way that I really want to. But you never know, things might change by May. This is At Vara with Enna. Beautiful stuff. At Supernova, we had that sort of on-screen effect. It looked like glass flying all around her. It was quite impressive to look at. If we have something like that again at Eurovision, you never know. People might want to vote for it. It might really stand out from the field. The juries, I'm sure, will appreciate this. Will they appreciate it as much as they did Burman Laimi? I don't really know. Latvia looking for a third Eurovision final in a row. Will it happen with this track? I'm not too sure. Which means, closing the show, if it's not this, it'll be Cyprus or Australia, I'm sure. Denmark. What a change of fortune, if that's the right phrase I'm thinking of here, for Denmark. Qualified last year, didn't do too well. For years, DMGP has been viewed as a crushing disappointment by most Eurovision fans, but now maybe they're turning a corner. This is a contender to win. Sogn Toppegard Lund with Før vi går hjem, Before We Go Home. And yeah, this will be the last song people hear before the interval and the voting, and then they go home. I imagine the staging will be similar to what we had at DMGP with that box, so because that's a prop and they'll need time to get it on stage, this being last in the running order is probably not a bad idea. It takes a while to really get going. We've got some choreo, there's dancers. It's very engaging, it's catchy, and then it explodes into life in the final third with this sort of orange glow and fire and slick choreo. It really, really came together very well at DMGP. More of the same, please. Maybe this could win Eurovision. I don't know. Certainly top 10 in the final, barring some sort of complete flop catastrophe situation. But yeah, really good stuff. I think it would be a great way to close the show. Wow, didn't I ramble? A recap. Song 1, Bulgaria. Song 2, Azerbaijan. Song 3, Switzerland. Song 4, Armenia. Then we have Austria. Song 5, Luxembourg. Song 6, Czechia. Song 7, Romania. Song 8, Ukraine. Then we're going to have 1, 2, 3 for the United Kingdom. Then we have Malta, Song 9. Song 10, Cyprus. Song 11, Albania. Song 12, Australia. Then we're going to have France. Could be on earlier, but I've put them as the last auto-qualifier to be showcased. Song 13, Norway. Song 14, Latvia. Song 15, Denmark. We will get the official running orders, I believe, within the next 7 days or so, and I will film a reaction video to those as and when they surface. If you'd like to see a visual semi-finals running orders prediction that I've made, I will be posting that on my other social media pages shortly, and probably on my posts page here on YouTube as well. Anyway, that is it. My voice is really shot to pieces now. Let me know what you think. It's just a bit of fun. Don't take it too seriously, and I'll be back with another Eurovision 2026 related video fairly soon. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.